Right, so welcome to season 15 of Finance Skills Hub. In this first part of the presentation, I want to go through what Finance Skills Hub is about, what we do, and the modules that we teach. You also get to know the team, right? So I mentioned earlier that we're having a hybrid class. So there are people here at East Legon, and there are those online. So you can say hello to each other. Okay, so let's proceed. Now, this is the agenda. So I'll talk about Finance Skills Hub, about us, our history, the vision and mission of Finance Skills Hub, what's new this season, okay? And then you'll meet the team that is going to help you with the learning and all that. And then we'll talk about the agenda, okay? So this is the first part of that presentation. So first of all, Finance Skills Hub, what do we do? So Finance Skills Hub is a digital skills training hub. We specialize in training students and corporate workers. Now, we decided to specialize in tools that enhance productivity. Because truth is that I keep saying that when we were in school, I see some of our meetings, we didn't have the opportunity to learn some of these skills in school. I don't have the memory of going to the computer lab. Don't know if Mr. Lansing had. So you wanted to browse. So we did the theory parts, but when we turn up at the office, it's these tools that make a difference, right? So you are supposed to deliver insight from data. You are supposed to do financial modeling. You are supposed to do business presentations, right? In recent times, AI is also another angle that we are looking at. So what we have dedicated ourselves to as a training hub is to focus on these tools as a way to enhance productivity, right? So currently in the list, we teach Microsoft Office tools. Our mainstay is Microsoft Excel, PowerPoint, and then Power BI for business intelligence and data analytics. For the rest of the tools, we come on premise and we teach, but it's mainly Excel, PowerPoint, and then Power BI. So far as the Microsoft Office tools are concerned, right? Then we also do financial modeling. If our Finance Skills Hub is the only approved training provider for the Financial Modeling Institute in Canada. They are the global financial modeling certification body. We've trained almost 40 certified advanced financial modelers. The last time we had financial modeling was in January. The next one will be in September, right? So if you want to certify in financial modeling, we also run that as well. The Advanced Financial Modeler Program, the Chartered Financial Modeler Program, right? Then we also do low-code app development. So we have a system or an app called App Suite, where we assist you to build data-driven apps, right? So we've done that in the past for some selected ladies who we sponsored. And then we also do coding as well. In the future, we should be running programs in Python in the future. But currently, this is what we have on the menu, right? So that is what we have dedicated ourselves to do, to bridge the gap between academia and work, right? So that is Finance Skills Hub. Now, why finance? I know there are a lot of training organizations in Ghana. The market is wide, but why would you choose finance? Truth is that since we started in 2016, we have adopted this workshop style training. So you are not just going to be listening to a monologue. We ensure that case studies that we use are case studies that you can identify with, right? So we do a lot of hands-on practice. You have a lot of videos. If you go to our YouTube channel, there are a lot of dashboard case studies that we've created that you can use and then practice, right? So we ensure that what we do is relevant to you. That's one. And then you get a lot of practice from our previous sessions as well. Our facilitators, you meet them, about 8 of us, we are all certified trainers, right? We've all taken the certification programs in advanced financial modeling, data analytics, MCT, Microsoft Certified Trainers as well. So at least we pass on what we have experienced to you. Now, what we try to also create is we have a fine blend of learners from various corporate institutions and students. So I know there are bankers here, there are consultants here, there are renewable energy experts here, but in this online class, there are also a group of students because we have a community at University of Ghana Business School. Now, we bring the students in, we give them scholarships to join to enrich their learning because they bring an angle that workers may probably not see, vice versa. They also get the practical side of what they are learning, right? So consistently through all our seasons, we try to do a blend of students, workers, and even the workers, they come from different industries. So that's what we do. Then we give you flexible online and in-person schedules. So as you can see, I have people here, and then there's also online joining, those who are joining us online. Now, for those of you who probably will join in person, and maybe something happens, you can't come in person. You can't actually join the online in subsequent Saturdays if you want. Vice versa, if you joined online and then you want to come in person too, we give you that flexibility, right? The timetable is arranged that way. Okay, so that is why we think Finex is a bit ahead of the curve when it comes to training. Okay, then beyond what we create together, currently what we are doing is being recorded. All our live sessions are also going to be recorded. Okay, now for all those who have joined us in the past, when we finish, we give you the live recordings, the resources, the PDFs, the Excel workbooks, the PowerPoints, so that you have lifetime access. You can always make reference to them, right? So you'll be part of a virtual classroom, even if you are joining us in person or online. You have access to these recordings and the resources for life. Okay, so that is something that we give you as well. Now, our history. We started this community in 2016. In fact, what you are looking at is our first meeting at the University of Ghana, Econs department. We started this initially as an Excel and financial modeling community. And by God's grace, we've grown since 2016. We've had about 15 trainings. This is our 15th, right? So we keep doing this because we appreciate the impact the things that we teach has had on the lives of those who join us. Thank God, most of the people who turn up in classes are referrals. Yes, we do adverts, but a lot of people come through referrals. Right? I'm sure some of you here came through referrals. So if what we're doing wasn't proper, we will not be going on. So that is our history, and we thank God for progress. So this is our vision. We want the members of Finance Skills Hub, right? We want a big community of people who are digitally savvy, right? And then impacting office productivity with time-saving solutions. What we want is that if there's anybody doing something exceptional in the office, the person will be a Finex Skills Hub member. That's our vision. We want this to be global, right? In this season, we are welcoming people from all over the world. Online, there are people joining us from the USA, Argentina, Nigeria. All of you are welcome. So what we are trying to do is to make Finance Skills Hub a wider community globally. So that's mark of people who can change things, add value to productivity at the office. We get that wider pool of people. That's our mission. And our mission, as I stated earlier, is to bridge the gap when we finish school and what we do at work. All the skills that will make it easier for you to transition. That is what our mission is. Now, for our goals, every year, our target is to train at least 400 skilled workers and students. You see why this is possible in the next slide. Because what we are doing, which is Finance School, is not the only training platform. We have other avenues for teaching, right? So this is our vision, this is our mission, and this is our annual goal, to train at least 400 people every year. Now, for our community, we have 3 main community groups. So the first one is Excel Our Girls. This is our sponsored training program for ladies under 25. As to why we are focusing on ladies, I'll answer that later. So we train ladies in data-driven app development, Python, and AppSheet. This program was sponsored by some of our alumni, right? So we've run 2 sessions already, and the girls come here. We do 10 Saturdays. It's free, it's sponsored. They go out there and then they impact, right? So that community is there. And then we have the students in data analytics program. This is our community at the University of Ghana Business School. Some of them are here with us, joining us live. Okay, so we go to them and then we teach them these tools. We want to give them what we didn't get, so that when they come out of school, they are already very conversant with these tools. And thank God, we've seen the fruits already, because the group that we started with, most of them are even facilitators now at Finex Skills Up, right? In fact, majority of them, about 6 or 5 of them, are teachers here, right? So that is why we are encouraged to keep doing what we do. And then there's the Finex School, which is where we train on a quarterly basis. People come here from different industries. We commit to a certain model. We run it for between 5 and 8 Saturdays, right? That is the Finex School. This is our 15th edition. Okay, so these are the 3 communities that we have. Now, every season, we concentrate on something new, right? So this season, we are doing something new. Last season, we did something new. This season, our focus is on data analytics and business intelligence. We want to explore how to do this with Excel, and also explore how to do this with Power BI, right? In the past, what we have been doing is that we have been serving Excel from beginner all the way to advanced, doing tables, index match, XLOOKUP, if, what if analysis, and those things, right? Now, what we want to do is transition from that point and then use Excel to focus on business intelligence and data analytics, right? You understand why? Beyond being able to use Excel for VLOOKUP and those things, there's a lot Excel can do. And that is our goal this season. How do we use Excel to analyze data? Right. Now, we are not focusing on just Excel. We are also focusing on how to use Power BI as well. Okay, so we'll have BI and data analytics with Excel, BI and data analytics with Power BI. That's our focus this season. Okay, now I want to introduce the team quickly, and then we'll go on to the agenda. Okay, so this is Bernard. When I was younger, then right now I'm a bit old, so and then this is Osbert. So Osbert is an advanced financial modeler. He has an MBA. Osbert is in charge of our operations and logistics. So those who came in person, you meet him at the office. Then this is the Excel guy, Ferdinand. So you have a mix of teachers, right? So Ferdinand is with the Excel team. So Ferdinand is a Microsoft certified trainer, also an advanced financial modeler as well. There's Daniel. So Daniel is a chartered accountant, an advanced financial modeler as well. He's also going to be part of the Excel team, right? So that is the first set of team members. Then I'm sure you ask where the ladies are. So this is Priscilla. Priscilla is with the data analytics team. Power BI is her mainstay. She is a software developer at CBG, and Azure data scientist as well, right? So you meet Priscilla. Then Ernest Abuaje. So recently was finance partner at APSA. He's currently in the US, but he'll be joining us remotely. He's an advanced financial modeler as well. And then Nesima is a fellow associate. I get confused. But whatever top title it is, the Nesima parts, that's Ernest. And then this is Na. Na is also with the Excel team. Na is a financial modeler and valuation analyst, FMVA certified. So that is Na. You meet them in subsequent sessions. And there's the Winger. So the Winger is also an advanced financial modeler, a Microsoft Office specialist. He and Ernest actually do the financial modeling training. So you meet the Winger, you pass by during the Excel sessions as well. And then finally, our baby last, Solis. So for those who are here, that's Solis at the back. Yeah, so that's Solace at the back. So I think I need to update the slide because she had added on. Uh, she used to be our student rep on campus. When she was a student. But right now, 1 year after, she's a big woman. So I need to update this. So that's the team, right? Just to help you know that it's not only Bernard, but you'll be seeing a lot of faces as we progress. Right. So what's the agenda? So this is the first part of today's orientation. I want us to look at what we have signed up for. So beyond this point, I'm going to be talking about an overview of data analytics, business intelligence. Maybe you want to make it a career path, right? There's a few questions that we need to answer, right? So that you are in eye clear mode. If you want to add Power BI, you can add. If you want to take away, you can take away. But I want all of us to be at the same level, okay? So that you know that you have signed up for what you think you can do. Does it make sense? Good. Then we'll talk about the modules, right? We'll go into the detailed course outline. I'll show you sample of the work that is expected of you, okay? So that you know that once I open a blank Excel sheet and I get data, these are the steps I go through to get my dashboard, okay? So we'll learn all the modules. And then we'll talk about logistics. How are we going to learn online? How are we going to learn in person? Okay, how would I get access to the resources? Okay, how would I connect my tablet and my laptop? Is Power BI available on Mac? All those questions, how do I download Power BI? We are going to answer them today. Are we good? And then we'll take your general questions. So today is a joint class. Hopefully, we should finish this latest by 11. And then once you are clear, God willing, next Saturday, class starts. Please, are you with me? So we normally do this. It's our ritual. We do this so that we answer all your questions. And then when you are coming next Saturday, you are prepared. Right? So today is a joint class, both Excel and Power BI. We are all here. Are we good? Okay. So I'll take your questions, but so that we save time, I'm going to quickly transition to the second slide, which is the overview. Okay. Okay, so online we have a little about 54 people. We welcome all of you. I see Oyemi. I see Rosella is also here. Amiya, Victoria, Nat. All of you are welcome. So we'll take the questions after the second module, and then whatever insights that you want, we'll share it right after. Okay, so let's go to the overview. I'm going to share the screen shortly. Okay, now this is a very important presentation. You signed up for data analytics with Excel and Power BI. What is it about? Okay, so first, I want to talk about business intelligence and data analytics. We use the two interchangeably, but as to whether there's a clear line or it's overlapping, I want to put some light on it. Okay, so people mention Power BI as Power BI. And sometimes we don't even know the BI part is business intelligence. Why did Microsoft create it? What purpose does it serve? Right? So we'll talk about this. Then we'll talk about the career path. I know for most of us, we are trying to transition. Okay. There are, in fact, business intelligence and data analytics is open to everybody. Whether you're an accountant, you are a nurse, you are a doctor, you're a consultant, as long as the kind of work you do generates data, please. In the next 2-3 years, everybody is expected to be what we call a knowledge worker. What you do, you are supposed to add value to it and provide insights, right? So it's not as if data analytics is restricted to the IT people. No, everybody's welcome, right? So we want to talk about the career path. I would explain about 5 different career paths that you can take, right? Talk about certifications as well, for those who are interested in going beyond this class. Then we'll talk about business intelligence in Excel. For some of us, we think Excel is just a calculator. No, Excel is more than a calculator. Today, we would explore all the business intelligence tools in Excel and what you can create with it. Are you on the same page? Then we'll talk about Power BI itself. What is Power BI? If you haven't met Power BI before, this orientation is going to open your eyes to what it can do. Okay. Then I'll round up with the future, the impact of AI on BI. I know it sounds some way. So we'll talk about the impact of AI on BI. Right? In fact, where we are going, you should have the two, AI and BI. Are you on the same page? So please, this is a quick overview, and then after, we'll take your questions. Now, what is business intelligence and data analytics? Truth is that in recent times, if you go back in the last 10 years, companies have been generating a lot of data. A lot of companies are creating apps. Now, internet banking has been enhanced. Most people are moving beyond brick and mortar, right, to online. In that process, it means that what the business model used to be is changing. Now, some of these tools that businesses are using now is generating a lot of data that requires analysis. Are you with me? So forget about the kind of industry you are in. The insurance people have apps now. Bankers have apps now. Private hospitals even have apps now that you can sign in, right? The fact that we are adopting some of these innovative things means that there's a lot of data that's being generated in our service. Now, even this week alone, in our community, we've advertised just about 4 data analytics vacancies. Ghana is waking up. The world is waking up. They want people who can do beyond the job description and then add value to their data. Please, are you with me? Now, business intelligence basically is how do we use data that we have generated in the past to inform the organization on what has happened to our work or the kind of thing that we do. So, as an example, if you sell, you can analyze all the sales that has come in the last 10 years and then see which product you need to focus on. Are you with me? If you made a profit, you can even use business intelligence to determine the driver of the profit, right? So that you know that profitability is not accidental. There's a certain product you need to do more on. There's one that you need to discontinue, right? Now, competition is strictly on databases. So if you have data on the industry ahead of your competitors, you are most likely to do something they have not thought of. Please, are you with me? So what we know as BI is business intelligence. How do we harness the data that we've created, okay, to describe what has happened in the past, and also answer questions of even why what happened. Please, are you with me? So if we talk about business intelligence, essentially it deals with data, but harnessing that data creates insights to support decision making for the organization. Are we good? So at this point, when somebody asks you what's business intelligence, at least you can speak to it. Okay, so think of business intelligence as data, analyzing it to describe what has happened in the past, and also answer questions on the present. That's what business intelligence is about. Now, beyond being able to answer questions in the past and present, right? There's also the future side, where based on our findings, we can determine what is likely to happen, right? They call that predictive analytics. Okay, you've generated a lot of data. Now you've used it to describe what happened in the past, what is driving profit and all those things. But can you also rely on that data to predict what is likely to happen? Are you seeing patterns? Are you seeing correlation? Okay, can we use that as a basis to determine that, okay, in our new season, because we've averaged about 15 people in the last 14 editions, we are expecting the same 15 or more. Are you with me? So the ability to now use the same data to find correlation and patterns to predict the future is where the data analytics part comes in. right? So even that, with the right algorithms and models, you can even control what is likely to happen and make it happen or prevent it from happening, right? So data analysis by that becomes an extension of business intelligence because it's the same data. You can use it to describe what has happened in the past, support decisions in the present, okay? Then use it to predict what is likely to happen, right? And then control what is likely to happen. Now, the reason we use it interchangeably is that from what you are seeing, data analytics is a bit broader, right? Because it uses the data that the company has generated, right, to do past, present, and then future analysis. That's basically what it does. Are you on the same page? So if you turn up in a company, most likely they will point you to their SQL server or their cloud service online, right? And as for the data that has been generated in recent times, they say it's even more than from beginning of Adam to the year 2000, right? After you are coming here, you generated data. Google locations has cached your movement, right? We can use this to go into the past, the present, and then also into the future, right? So yes, there's data analytics when there's a predictive part of it. So what most people do is that they can break this into four, right? So the past is what we call descriptive analytics, right? Just essentially telling us that, okay, when we analyze the data, we realize that a lot of females like this product. That's the descriptive part. Then the diagnostic part is where we determine the driver of the outcome we are analyzing. So you made profits. What made you make the profits? Because you introduced product S, or because you sold, or because you changed a salesperson. All those are possible in here. Then the future part is the predictive part. So this is the predictive analytics we are talking about. And then we have the prescriptive analytics. Are we on the same page? So this is just to give you a broader overview. So in effect, what we are saying is that business intelligence and data analytics are both about understanding data, right? While business intelligence helps businesses make better decisions by looking at past and current data, data analytics goes beyond business intelligence by finding patterns and making predictions using various methods, right? So if you had the opportunity, we start with BI and then we build on and add the data analytics proficiency. Does it make sense? So if somebody is using these words, at least it's clear a bit now, right? So our job this season is to do the two, right? So you are signing up for the two. And I'm saying that there's a pharmacist here. You are not going to sell drugs alone. You're going to use the tools to analyze the things that you sell. So please, it's open to all industries because you generate data with the kind of work that you do. I'll take your questions. As I said, you take your notes and put down your questions. I'll open it up so I can answer all your questions. Now, what tool should we use? What tool should we use? Is a very important question. I'm showing you a visual called the Gartner Magic Quadrant for analytics and business intelligence platforms. Now, Gartner is an organization that dedicates itself to researching business intelligence and data analytics tools, right? You may have heard of Power BI. You may have heard of Tableau. You may have heard of SAP. You've heard of Zoho, Sisense, right? Please, there are tools you can use for business intelligence beyond Microsoft Power BI. But the reason we like Power BI is that this is the latest finding. Since they started this research in the last 3 years, Microsoft has been in a very comfortable lead, right? See, the quadrant is basically measuring the completeness of their vision, okay, against what they have set out to do, okay? So these tools set out to achieve a certain milestone by a certain period, right? So Gartner always goes into research which tool is actually pushing towards what they have set out to do. Okay. Now, this one, I didn't create it. It's not because I'm a Microsoft person, but you can go and research on it. Okay, that's why I'm giving you the content. Go and research and then see why Microsoft Power BI is a big deal. Right? So if you have been following Microsoft products for a while, in recent times when there was a little glitch with CrowdStrike, you saw the quick commotion that happened worldwide. It means that Microsoft tools are popular. Right? So if you are starting your business intelligence or data analytics journey, you are better off starting with these tools. It doesn't mean there are not others that can do it. There's Tableau, there's Google Studio, there's Sisense, and all those ones. But this points to the fact that in terms of the tools, Microsoft is in the comfortable. It doesn't make sense. So doing a campaign for Power BI. Why you should use it for business intelligence. Okay, now let's talk about career path. For most of us, we got to our zones by accident. We sent CVs, and then the CVs picked us. Right? So we threw out the CVs out there, and then we decided to be insurers, we decided to be bankers, we decided to be whatever we are now. Right? But life offers an opportunity to consciously decide, okay, what we want to do sometimes. Right? I know most of us are trying to decision. Now, that decision comes with a lot of, if you like, data analysis. Let me put it that way. And also, some of us are trying to also migrate. You know, if you migrate, you should have employable skills, right? So if you come and learn data analytics and BI, what is in it for you? Now, what I'm going to show you is not cast in stone, okay? So I'm going to show you the most common starting point, okay? The most common starting point is being employed as a data analyst or a business analyst. Now, the two are similar, right? Your job is to use the data that the company has created and then offer them insights, right? Now, as a data analyst, your job is to design systems that will extract data, clean it, model, calculate to get insights, and then, if you like, in some cases, create a report or a dashboard. That's where you begin. When companies bring job descriptions, sometimes they put the two together, data analyst stroke business analyst. The difference is that the business analyst is the one who is required to know a bit more about the business and then apply the data analytics skill, okay, to the business. So case in point is like, there are some special areas like the engineers, okay, the telecom sector. You are expected to know a bit more about the business and then layer it with your data analytics skills. For those who are in finance, you are expected to know a bit more about finance and then add the data analytics layer to it. Okay. In some of the job descriptions I've seen, knowledge of the business is required because you need to now sort of design whatever insights you are getting to support the business model. Okay. So I'm just saying this because you can be employed as a data analyst generic. No knowledge about the business, even though it is required. But your job is to turn raw data into relevant insights, right? I'm showing you these two first because sometimes they overlap, right? And the truth is that in the last 2 years, these roles are now being created. They didn't exist because companies have now suddenly realized that there's too much data, right? It's not the job of the IT people anymore. Can we have a dedicated data team to be able to analyze this for us? In one of the banks, when we went to train, we realized that they have put a lot of data analysts together. They call them the BI team. They are just at the back end, analyzing the data and then churning out insights to support decisions. So if you are starting off, you can start off as a data analyst or a business analyst. The only difference is that one has core knowledge of the business and then the other is generic. But what is common between the two is that they both turn raw data into insights. Does it make sense? Good. Now, there's a data scientist. So you may have heard data analysis, data analytics, data science. Please, the data science goes beyond just turning raw data into insights, right? If you know what scientists do, please, what do scientists do? There are scientists here, so that's why I'm asking the question. Scientists, they go to the lab, they create hypotheses, right? Investigate, thank you, right? So you can be a data scientist. It doesn't mean you need to go to a medical school or something. But your job is this time around, you are relying on big data, right? Big data to answer some or validate some assumptions. Okay. Is it the case that in June, our sales always drop? And why does it drop? The data scientist is the one who's supposed to answer that. So for the data scientists, they are not just analyzing raw data into insights, but they are looking into the data to determine questions that need to be answered first. They devise what we call hypotheses, okay, and then create experiments. So the data scientist's job is a bit deeper than the data analyst, right? Here you need things like machine learning, okay. The data that you'll probably be sampling will be a bit bigger than what the data analyst will be using, right? But I'm saying that a good place to start is a data analyst. But of course, if you want to add some of the layers to it, machine learning, Python, R coding, and all those things, because you need that, right, to be a data scientist. Now, I'll show you why it is possible even in the Microsoft space, because these tools are now possible in a platform called Fabric, Microsoft Fabric. Okay, it allows for machine learning and those things. So for those who want to go a bit more than just being data analysts, it is possible, right? So that is another option. Then there's a data engineer. Maybe you are not into analyzing data, but you are the one who's going to build the pipelines for the data to pass through. Okay, there's also a career path like that. So your job is to provision and set up the data technologies on-premise or in the cloud, right? I've seen jobs like that. Okay, so in this space, you should be interested in, if a company is setting up, a new bank is coming, how would I set up the technology in such a way that what the customer service people are doing, right, can be captured easily, added to the operations people, added to the marketing people, and then pushed to the data analyst or the data scientist. That is the job of the data engineer, right? So that is another career path if you are interested. Then there is the database administrator. For you, you are the boss now when the data has come in. Okay, managing access. This one gets this license. The one that is able to publish online, the one that is not able to publish online. Okay, the different credentials, right? You are the one who will decide which bits of data goes to these people and all that. You are managing data and privacy issues, right? So there's also a role for a database admin. Okay, so you are responsible for the overall availability and consistent performance, and also importantly, the optimization of all the technologies that have been deployed, right? So please, as for the job, there are many. As I sit here now, I have like 4 job vacancies that haven't been filled in. And because of what we do, most people come through us to look for people. And one of the things that we'll give you as part of our community is that you'll be joining us after you have graduated. We'll add you to please settle for the first 2, right? And then add on. But even for the kind of work you are doing already, it is possible to, let's say, change yourself into something and add analyst to it. I read so whatever you are doing, it's also possible to create the role for yourself and then just do your work so that you can add analysts to it. That makes sense. So please, this is not cast in stone. There are other jobs that are data related, but these are the popular ones. Are we good? I'll take your questions. Please note them. Now, let's talk about learning path. So I've spoken about BI, I've spoken about data analytics, I've spoken about the rules and all these things. You are here to learn. Where can I start? Where do you think you should start, people? Which one? The database engineer. You see, the database engineer, the least you should know is about tables. At least you should know what tables are, what fields are, what the database is, what the records are, and those things. So that we are all able to join. A good place to start is Microsoft Excel. Please are you with me? You see, the way we look at Excel, we measure Excel by what it does for us. But from us here, this software is a big deal. I'm telling you, we use just about averagely 7% of its capabilities. Now, the reason most of us should start at Excel is that we'll show you first how to store data. Right? You see, most of us when we are working, once we store the data and it comes in, we are working with it at black and white level. So anytime we have to select data, we use the mouse to select and do our analysis. But if you start in Excel, you learn that you have to store your data in tables. Tables allow you to refer to the data in a structured way. Without the mouse, you can give the name, the table a name, and then call it and use it for your analysis. Right? So Excel will be a good place to start because you learn how to use tables. You learn how to clean data using Power Query. You learn how to create a data model using Power Pivots. I'll show you all those tools. Okay. And you learn how to create an interactive dashboard. Right? At least that foundation is important. Right? Now, when you build on Excel, you can now transition to Power BI. Are you with me? You can also do Tableau from this point. That's fine. But what I'm saying is that your learning in Excel will be very, very good. Because you see, in the BI tools, example, Power BI and Tableau, if you go there, you realize that the basic blocks you deal with are tables. There's no cell referencing business there, right? So if you are adept and you're already able to work with tables comfortably, pivot table to summarize data, right? Use your charts and your slices very well. Transitioning to these tools is very smooth. Okay, so if you like, you can layer it with Power BI. I'll show you the extra things Power BI brings in that Excel doesn't have. And then why it is good to have a bit of the two. Does it make sense? Now, about a year or two ago, in fact, a year ago, the Power BI platform was expanded to a platform called Fabric. So for those who want to be data scientists and do more with big data, you now have the option to go beyond Power BI and then get certified in Fabric. So that is the broader platform for machine learning and big data and those things, where you're able to test hypotheses and those things, right? So Power BI can be extended to Fabric. For all these, there are certifications. So if you want to be recognized globally, you can write exams in these tools as well. Does it make sense? Now, this tool will be enough for anybody who wants to start a journey as a business analyst or a data analyst. But for those who want to go into data engineering, database administration, and all those things, please, SQL is also important. Right? So when we are laying the stack, we say that start with Excel, do Power BI or Tableau. But if your job would also require you to manage databases, okay, on-premise or online or in the cloud, then adding SQL is also very important. Now, the thing is that even if you're not going to be a database engineer or a database administrator, sometimes as a Power BI data analyst or Tableau data analyst or Excel data analyst, you see, most of the companies have their data stored in SQL servers. Right? So if you turn up at the company, where they have stored their data is in SQL. So being able to retrieve the data will require you to be able to write some SQL queries, right? So a bit of it is also important. But if you are not likely to do that, then of course, the first two is also good for you, okay? Then there's Python and R. Python and R, why are these important? You see, most of the time, the data that we deal with is structured data. They come in columns and fields. Okay, so when we download them, we just connect the columns and then we do a sum and average. But what if you are handling unstructured data, sentiments? Okay, this is where a bit of Python knowledge is also required. Okay, so Python or R would also help you. Now, please, in saying this, I'm not saying you should do all, right? Sometimes the first one is enough. Sometimes the second part is enough. But if you have capacity and then you want to go all the way, right? SQL will help you with the data management. Python will help you with the unstructured data analysis. Are you with me? But what all of us in the end should use as icing on the cake is AI. I'm saying it. AI. It has started as ChatGPT, Abacus, Cloud, Copilot. What did I mention? Bard or Gemini. Now, in the next 3 years, those who are not using these tools, you see, beyond just being able to generate prompts, you should be able to build custom LLM, large language modules to support your work, right? It's going to be easy, but what AI is going to help us do is to help us work better. Don't allow yourself to be replaced. Use it to complement the kind of work that you do, right? And that is why I put it here, that it's important you add this bit to it. Please, does it make sense? There are a lot more you can add, but these are the popular ones, right? So Excel is a good place to start. Power BI, Fabric by extension, SQL, Python or R, and then as the AI modules also develop, we are going to be teaching some of these things here. In the future, we hope to bring all these into Finex, but for now, our mainstay is just the first two. Please, are you on the same page? Okay. Now, let's talk about business intelligence in Excel. But before I do that, I think it's a good time to take your questions. And later, so right, I'm going to open Excel. So if there are any questions, please, you can ask now. So online, if you have any questions, you can ask now because I'm going to Excel. If not, please hold on for me. Yes.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Yeah, so you've been mentioning Power BI, Fabric, and Tableau. So what do you mean by these three? Are they the same?
Okay, so good question. I'm going to show you what Power BI is, but just to give you a heads up, Power BI is Microsoft's business intelligence. I already explained what business intelligence is. It was introduced in 2016, late 2015, right? In fact, this is Power BI. So this is a sample work in Power BI. Okay, so you can use Power BI to analyze data and create reports. Right. I'll walk you through this. So Power BI is for Microsoft in terms of the business intelligence. Tableau does something similar to what Power BI does, but it's not for Microsoft. So in summary, they are competitors. So those who want to understand the difference. So you can learn Power BI, you can get, in fact, almost all that Tableau can do for you can be done in Power BI. The advantage Tableau brings in is that currently, Tableau is a bit enhanced on the visualization part. So people like Tableau because they think the charts are nicer and all those things. The advantage Power BI also has over Tableau is that Power BI has a solid back end to help you clean data, model data, right, and then do powerful calculations, right? So there's a whole video that compares the two. But if you were to ask me, a good platform to learn business intelligence and data analytics is Power BI. Because even with the visualization parts, in the last 1 year, there's been a lot of improvements, right? So as an example, if you're able to create something like this, it shows you how powerful Power BI has become. I hope your question is answered.
Yeah, talk a little bit about the Fabric 2 in relation to Power BI and then Tableau.
Okay, so Fabric is a bigger platform than Power BI. You see, Fabric is an extended feature, or let me say a platform that allows you, when you have published your reports and you want to do a bit more deep dive analysis, so a bit more machine learning, testing the hypothesis and all those things, the jobs that normally the data scientist people do. Okay, Fabric is now like another module or platform. In fact, the way they've designed it, they have now made Power BI part of Fabric. So if I go online right now, let me just attempt to. So this is Microsoft Fabric. Okay, this is Microsoft Fabric. It has a lot of tools here. Okay, beyond what we do with Power BI, it has the capacity to hold big data. Okay, I can do data engineering, I can do data science. Okay, I can also do data warehousing right here in Microsoft Fabric. Okay, so I'll connect you back to the earlier slide that I did. That the path for learning or career is not just the analysis part. Okay, there's the warehousing, the engineering part, the science part, right? So what Fabric gives you is it makes all these available to you in one place beyond Power BI, right? So if I choose Microsoft Fabric, these are the tools that I'm getting access to. Things that can help me with real-time intelligence, data engineering, data science, okay, data warehousing techniques, and all those things. If you like, it's an extended path beyond our Power BI work, right, to help you answer more questions and then deep dive. Okay, so probably in a Fabric class, we can go into some of these tools so that you get a clearer picture of what it does, right? Are you okay?
Very okay. Very okay.
Thank you. Good. Okay. Now, let's take Excel one by one. So what I'm going to do now is to show you what
Hello.
we mean. Yes, sir.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, the learning path you've demonstrated to us,
Yes.
yeah, is for people who have at least gone beyond the senior high, the university level.
Yes.
Yeah, so what learning path would you recommend to somebody who has just completed JHS and to go to the senior high? So that if
Okay.
the person want to take, maybe go into IT as a profession.
Mhm.
Yeah, I want. Is there a recommended way? Do you have any suggestion for such a person?
Okay. I mean, it's a good question. Truth
Thank you
is
very much.
that these tools are not categorized by GES standards. What I mean is that you are not supposed to have a certain certification before you can use these tools. I'm saying that because last 2 seasons, we had a 15-year-old join us in our data analytics with Power BI class. And for those who joined that class, they can testify that that young girl was amazing. I don't want us to put restrictions on our children because some of them, they have the capacity to learn these skills, right? So I will not say that let the person finish SS, let the person finish university before the person can start analyzing data in Excel. What I would encourage you to do is at least the person before he or she begins any journey should be at least proficient with using basic computer. It's very important. If the person can type, the person can use the mouse, the person can do some basic manipulations with Excel, then please, the person is ready. Right? What I encourage us to do is, in fact, Finex is thinking of a program at that stage for the teenagers. When we catch them early, we know they will not be out for us forever, but at least they will go and be part forever. Right? So to answer the question, as long as the person has shown a bit of proficiency in using computers, please, we have put together an Excel playlist. I'll show you after the class that the person can use to, let's say, build a good foundation, and then later use Microsoft Excel, Power BI, SQL, and those things to determine the career path, right? So please, that's the only requirement. As long as the person is proficient and able to use these tools, let them play and then start using these tools.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, now please hold on to the questions and then let me finish the last part of my presentation and then we'll leave the rest for Q&A. Okay, so I was going to talk about BI in Excel. In the past, they say we have all our case studies are sales and finance things and those things. So this season, what we want to do is we want to take data that everybody identifies with. Okay. I want to show you how you can use Excel to make sense of data. Now, can you see what is on your screen? Please, online people, can you see what is on your screen?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
I can.
Now, I'm going to take my time and then go through each sheet for you to examine. And then when I'm done, first, you tell me what the sheet is about. And then two, what you can report from the sheet. Are we game? Are we game? This is data from the World Bank. In fact, I can show you the website. And we are using real data because sometimes when you turn up for interviews, they give you real data, right? So this is sheet one. Sheet one has country name, country code, indicator name, indicator code. And then you have years from 1960 to 2023. Please, is this clear? Then there is something called data source, which tells you world development indicators. When it was last updated, it's also here. I'm showing the data sheet as it was downloaded. It hasn't been modified. Are you with me? Now, over here, you see indicator name, proportion of seats held by women in national parliament. Are we clear? And then the numbers that are here, okay, are the percentages for each year. Is it clear? Is it clear? So that is data in sheet one. Now let's go to data sheet two. Again, this is how the data came. I didn't expand the column, it was how it was downloaded. In data two, the worksheet is named metadata, right? And it talks about country code, region, income group, special notes, and then table name. So country code are abbreviations, okay? Then country region is the continent. Are you with me? Then you have the income group, whether the country is high income, low income, or middle income. Are you with me? And then there's special notes here, where this one is like further and better details of the country. And then finally, column E has the names of the countries here again. Please, is sheet two clear? Good. Then in sheet three, there's metadata, which is just 2 lines. Proportion of seats held by women in national parliaments. Are you with me? Now, let's say you're going for an interview. They are paying you $5,000. You are going to speak all the English. You have presented your certificates. The final step is that they give you this data and they are saying that analyze the data and share some insights with us. Right? Today's orientation. So we are doing an open forum. Please, are you with me? Now let's share ideas. Where would you begin from? First of all, what is the data about? I'm using this to make a point on how Excel comes in. Are you on the same page? So first of all, what is the data about? Online, in person, you can raise your hand. Yes, Theo.
Yeah, I think the data seeks to investigate historically to present time participation of women by countries in the legislature or in parliament.
Are you
If
good?
over, over the period there's been an increase or decline or it's been static from the little I observed.
I mean, that's a good start. So if you look at the data, what we are basically supposed to report on, and this is the descriptive analytics I spoke to you about. That's the starting point. Use the data to describe what has happened. Okay, because you see, at black and white level, this is very all over the place. So what Theo is saying is that we are supposed to use the data to say or show what is the proportion of women in parliament across the world. Are you with me? So in Ghana, how many MPs are women? In Nigeria, how many MPs are women? Is there a trend? Which continent is in a comfortable lead? Is it driven by high income or not? Are you on the same page? So at least we are all clear about the story, right? Or does somebody have a different angle? Does somebody have a different angle? Okay. My next question is, why have they given us 3 sheets, not 1? After all, somebody will argue that we can find all the details we need for analysis in the first sheet, true or false. Why have they given us 3 sheets? Data, metadata, and then metadata indicators. Anybody? If you don't know, it's fine. That's why. Please go ahead.
Can I try?
Please go ahead.
Yeah, so you see that in the first column there are a lot in the first there are a lot of columns. So if we bring the metadata side to there, the columns are few. So you see that they will be jammed up and it will be difficult to analyze. That's what I think.
So you think the metadata is a summary? Is that what I got? Please clarify.
Were you asking me the question or you want is the whole class?
No, I wanted clarity on what you said. That are you saying that the metadata is a summary of the data?
No,
or not?
no. What
Maybe I
I'm
didn't hear
saying is
well. I
that
wanted to clarify.
what I'm saying is that what I'm saying is that you see that the first one, there are a lot of columns. But if you go to the
So the
second
first
one,
you mean this one? Okay.
yes, the data side, there are a lot of columns. But if you go to the metadata, the countries, there are only few columns. So when you put them under the data and you want to analyze, it becomes difficult because you can't. There's no correlation. So that's why it is given in different schedules. That's what I think.
Oh, okay. I'm also thinking the first one, which is the data, the sheet 1 gives us the broad like data raised from various countries, but with the metadata, it's giving us the countries that are leading, kind of like it's ranking them with the metadata. I don't know if it's
Okay. I'll take the first one. I'll comment on the first submission. So the first submission said that he thinks that the columns are many in here, right? Okay. Okay. So I'll comment on the first two. Thank you for your submissions. Thank you. So there's another hand here in person. Vivian,
The data, all the information in one sheet, from each to parent. These are the values, so these are the percentage of women in country. Then the second sheet is giving us insight as to how come they derive those data. But those percentages were influenced by high income or whatever it is. Then the third one then narrowed everything after the second having explained the third just gave us a summary. And then informed us as the source of the data.
so you think in what you have said, do you think it's finished work?
See, as you said, the data engineering, data sciences, as you quest for more, you always want more. You can always expand economy here. So when you take the indicator name or the source name and you have a deeper understanding of what it's saying, then you can see if this is what you're saying, currently what is happening. Is it by war? Is it by gender? Is it by education? That means that I think we should take this form and make it this way. So depending on your understanding, you can conclude. This way can probably conclude.
So it's work in progress. Thank you. Okay. The main sheet. Okay. Analysis. Okay. Okay. So please, if they were not clear, we have two submissions from in person. First submission was that data has more details, followed by the metadata. Essentially, the submission is that it's work in progress. Then another submission said that the metadata is providing more details to help us analyze the original data sheets, right? Please, because we are all starting class, every answer is correct. I saw two online beeps. Oyemi, please go ahead.
I think what I wanted to say was what the person online in person said. I feel like the other sheets, the metadata countries, offer more information on answers that we can get from the data when we are making further analysis. And they are all being linked together with the country code. So we know that if we are finding answers to a certain question, we know that it is for a certain country code on every sheet. So it's more like the metadata country, the metadata indicator is offering more information on what is contained in the data sheet.
Okay, thank you. So I think, as I said, all the submissions are valid. Now I'll go on. The original data, as you have said, is data, the first sheet, right? This is the heart of what you are analyzing. Look at it. We have country name, country code, indicator name, right? And then the years. But if you come to the second sheet, which is metadata, metadata simply is data on data or context on what you're already analyzing. So if you like further and better details of some of the columns that are present in the first one. Please, are you with me? So as an example, if I download your data from university, whatever university you went to, in the data, I may have your index number, right? But the metadata will give me your name, gender, and any other further details on you. This doesn't make sense. So normally metadata provides more context on some of the columns in the original data. Normally, your job as a data analyst is to work together or put these two together to analyze. Because guess what? If you look at it, you realize that there's country name here, Have you realized there's no region in this one? There's no continent in this one. So if I'm analyzing by continent, I'm handicapped. I can't get continent from here. If I'm analyzing by income level, I don't have it here. Please, are you with me? So if somebody gives you data and metadata, what the person is saying is that data is original work. But if you want further and better details on some of the fields or columns, refer to the metadata. Are you on the same page? Okay, so that is that. Now, today is not class, but I just want you to see something. In Excel, you are expected to put metadata and data together, okay, to create a story. You are not going to be analyzing this independently. Are you with me? You also realize that there is a problem with the structure of this table. One of the things that you will learn in lesson 1 is how to structure data properly. Please, who can tell me what is wrong with the layout of this table? Oh, sorry, this data. Let's focus on data. What is wrong, or the question should rather be, is the structure of data correct or not? Have you seen the way it starts country name, country code, indicator name, indicator code, and then 1960 goes all the way to 2023? That layout, is it good to work with or not? Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, for me, I see that even though the data is sufficient, there are spaces. If you are analyzing data and you have spaces, it won't give you the appropriate good results. That's my layman view of it. Thank you.
But it's more than layman. Thank you. Spaces in data can impact your analysis, right? So as a data analyst, the first thing you do is something called EDA, exploratory data analysis. It's just to get the sense of the data, right? One of the things you deal with is how to deal with blank spaces. Okay, so he is saying that the blank space in here is a problem. We need to deal with it. That's one. What again? Look at the data. What is wrong? No, I shouldn't say what is wrong. Give me something we can improve on this data so that we can work with it. Somebody has mentioned spaces. What else can you see? Or you think it's fine? We should go ahead and insert a pivot table.
People have raised their hands.
Oh, sorry. Please, my apologies. Those who have raised their hand, please go ahead and talk. Yemi, is your hand still up? Nana J. Let me take it.
Yes.
Okay.
If you can bring back the data so that I can, I don't know if I'm heard.
Yes, you are heard, please.
Yes, I think that on the countryside, I do not know, I'm not so sure if they are all countries or is a mix-up of countries and continent names, because I can see African Western, no, on the data side, sorry. On the data sheet. On the data sheet towards your left, I see the country names. I see African Eastern and Southern. I'm not too sure if it's a continent name or it's actually a country's name. And then again, I can see that it's mixed up. It tried to like go an alphabetical way with the country names, but I can see that UAE, United Arab Emirates, is fixed in there where I don't think it's supposed to be there if it's going strictly like in an alphabetical way.
Okay, fantastic observation. So if I got you have a problem with the mix of countries and continents here. Please,
Yes.
you all see that? That's the column started with country name, but it appears there are some continents that are showing here as well, right? He also has a problem with the sorting. When you start analyzing data, you will know whether sorting impacts or not. I'm saying that every answer is correct. Okay, thank you. Good insights. Let me go to now. Now, please go ahead.
I also think that instead of having one column for each year, there should be a single column for years. So they fall underneath vertically.
Okay, so now is saying that she thinks it doesn't make sense to have years sits in columns, right? She thinks that all the years should come under one column called year. That's what she's saying. As to whether that's correct or not, you find that, right? I know where she's coming from. So what she's saying, she knows that when you are analyzing data, something like years, okay, which is like components of a certain field, should not be spread to the right like that. We should have one column called year, where all the years go under, right? These things are what makes it difficult to analyze data. If you don't see these things early, because if I feed this into a pivot table, I want to break my analysis down by year. But guess what? Year is not a field technically or a column for me. Right. So now, thank you for that insight. Next up, Jesse.
Yes, Bernard, I
Yes.
also agree with Na. I was going to say the same thing, that we put years under one header and then lay it out in a vertical order, so that when you're saving it in a table form or pivot table, it will be very easy to get certain extracts out of that.
Fantastic. Please, one of the things we'll do next week is to learn best practices with structuring data. When somebody gives you data, there are some few things you need to check to be sure that the data conforms, okay, to what you want to use it for. One of the things we have mentioned is this one, that years should not be spread to the right. We'll find a way to turn it the other way so that it aligns vertically. Okay. One last hand and then I'll move on. Yes. Nate, is it Nate or Nat? Kyle.
Anyone you pronounce, Bernard.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, so I think with the indicator name, we'd have a problem when we are doing our analysis, because even though it says indicator name, it has content of percentage attached to it. So it might affect our analysis in terms of like the data type.
Okay, that's good. So again, we have to probably deal with this column because we can argue that it's redundant, right? The fact that it has repeating entry, we will have to determine its impact on our final analysis, right? And then the percentage and all those things, we have to deal with it. Thank you. Okay, now I'm showing you this because in the real world, you'll be dealing with data like this, even worse, right? In Excel, there are tools to deal with all the problems you have mentioned. Now, I'm going to show you the final work. This is the final work. So the same data that you saw in black and white, this is where it has gone through all the tools, okay? And then it's able to help you present your story in a very nice, interactive way. Please, are you with me? This is possible in Excel. You don't need powerful tools to get the story done. Now, I think it converges around all that you have said. The fact that in a global view, women for this period represent about 18.06% of women in parliament. That's the story, right? If you have not created any slides out, this is the global view, okay? In the global view, Rwanda is a very good example because in Rwanda, for this period, the mean is that almost half of the parliament are women, right? Sweden follows, Cuba follows, Finland follows, and then Norway, right? Then, in terms of continent breakdown, Europe is first, North America is next, Latin America, South Asia, Middle East, and North Africa I hope you understand why Middle East and North Africa is least represented. You get that insight. Oh, which part of the world is Middle East and North Africa? Do you know why? If you know a bit of context, you should know why that part of the world has less women in parliament. Right? That's like the Arabic.
Yes.
Right. But if I showed you that black and white, this insight will not come. You get it? Now, there's also a trend. Okay. So here I can select any part. So let's say Sub-Saharan Africa, right? Averagely 17.84%, right? But the mean for this, if you look at it, it's also about 15 or something like that. So if I have countries, Ghana, I'll show you the Ghana in the Power BI. I think Ghana is doing about 15%. Your story can say whether Ghana's position is better or not, right? Now, from the black and white to this point, a lot of work has gone on. We first had to clean the data, one. Two, we had to bring metadata and data together. You know, there were two different data sets. One is providing context on the other, right? And then finally, we had to now put in slices and charts to achieve this. Does it make sense? Now, let me show you the tools in Excel. You tell me how many you have used already. Okay. So, do you know Excel tables? Please, when I say tables, I'm not saying the one that you have put border lines on, and then painted the top blue, and then put filter icons on. Do you know Excel tables? It's okay. Today's orientation. Okay. Now, in Excel, we store data in tables. You will learn why it is best to store data in tables, because you see, when you store data in tables, it expands. Your expectation is that the data will grow. If the data grows, there's a way it automatically updates your final work, right? So best practice is that store your data in tables. We'll learn about tables. Then there's something called Power Query. Please, my in-person people, how many of you have used Power Query before? And the online people, I can't ask, but the in-person, I'm not getting any hand up. Just so you know. Okay. Power Query is in Excel. It is also in Power BI. We use it to clean and transform stubborn data. Data that is not in a good shape. Data that has inputs or characters we don't like. Are you with me? Before you even use Power Query, you need to know what best data looks like or good data looks like. Right? So Power Query is what we call an ETL tool. It extracts, it transforms the data, and then it loads. Okay, so we use Power Query to clean data, for the want of a better word, in Excel. So when Nas said that the columns are not set right, we use Power Query to correct it. Is everyone on the same page? Okay. Then there's a tool called Power Pivot. Please, hands up. Alice Zeka, here, they are representing all of you. This is a sample space. So when they say they don't know, it means all of you don't know. So Power Pivot, please. Okay. What Power Pivot does is that it helps us connect tables. Okay. In the case study I gave you, there are two tables we have to work with at least, the data and the metadata. Okay. We use Power Pivots to create something we call a data model. Right. When we create a data model, it means that if I insert a pivot table, instead of just speaking to one table, I can speak to all the tables that are required for my analysis. That's Power Pivots. That is why I began by saying that the way we have treated Excel is not fair. Because we treated Excel like a VLOOKUP software, always doing reconciliation and doing calculation of sales and those things. But our goal this season is to expose you to some of these things. It doesn't make sense. Then, as for pivot tables, let me see some hands. For pivot tables, it's a long time, eh? Okay. So pivot tables helps us summarize data in Excel. Okay. In fact, it's a staging for most of the interactive charts that you see in dashboards. So we'll learn how to use pivot tables as well. Then we'll learn something called DAX, Data Analysis Expressions. It's not complex like that. It's like regular Excel formulas, but just that you are building these formulas from a data model. So the language is different. It gives us a bit more of powerful calculations. It has more powerful functions in there, right? So DAX is also in there. Then when you are at this point, you can use charts and slices to communicate your story. Please, this is BI in Excel. So our job this season is we are going to learn how to analyze data like this. Okay, and then make sense of it from raw data all the way to an interactive dashboard. The thing is that when we create dashboards using these tools, we don't have to worry about new data coming in. Example, let's say you're on a schedule. You have done a report that ended in June. July is about to end. When July data comes from your system, instead of starting the process all over again, what you do is that you just go and update the data source. You refresh, and then the updates run through and then update your dashboard. That's all. I've said that for some of you, your entire job description is a dashboard. So the thing that you have been doing piecemeal and piecemeal, if you get these tools, you'll be able to put all the things that you do in one smooth pipeline. And that's what I'm going to learn this season. Please, does it make sense? Okay. Question?
Yeah, I have a question.
Please go ahead, Anita.
Okay, so what's the clear difference between the power pivots and then the pivot table?
Okay, so let me show you the difference. So just a minute. Now, this is Power Pivots. So Power Pivots is here. Power Pivots is an add-in in Excel that helps us model data or create a data model. You see, a simple example is if I give you two tables, like the metadata and data, you have to find a way to connect the two tables in order to work with it. You cannot work with it in isolation. So what Power Pivot gives you is a way to marry the two tables. You see, for some of us, when we're analyzing data, we think doing a VLOOKUP to create one big table is a good start. But did you know that your tables could actually sit in different worksheets and different places, and you can still draw the data from there to create your analysis? That's what Power Pivot does for you, right? Now, pivot tables help us with summarizing data. So if you look at this dashboard in Excel, this chart, which is a breakdown of the proportion by continent, has a pivot table behind it. So have you seen this? Have you seen this summary table? This summary table was sponsored by Pivot Tables. Are you with me? It breaks or summarizes all the big data you are seeing into what we call categories and values, summarized, so that you can use a chart on this nicely without any stress. Anita, are you okay?
Yes, please.
Good. Okay. Now let's go on.
Thank you.
I'll take your questions again. So you pause with your questions. Now, that is BI in Excel. Maybe you didn't know. And that is why this season, we want to introduce you to, maybe all you know is pivot tables. But did you know that some of the cleaning things can be done in Power Query? If you have more than one table, you can use Power Pivots. Then you can use pivot table to summarize, read DAX calculations and all those. Please, this thing is not for IT people, right? Even if you are basic, they are very, very simple tools you can use. Get the skill now. Okay, now let's go to Power BI. So if you have questions on this, note it. I'll come and answer the question. Now, this is Power BI. Before I show you, it's the same data, the one you saw in Excel, but we have brought it here to tell a different story, right? The advantage Power BI has is that some of the visuals are a bit advanced than Excel. You know, Excel, we couldn't do country, right? But here I'm able to do a 3D, like I can go to Nigeria, okay, select only Nigeria, and then it will give me that Nigeria for the period is doing a mean of 5%. If I deselect Nigeria, I have a global view. Are you with me? Now, beyond the visuals, Power BI has a bit more capacity in terms of sharing the reports. Have you seen this one? Please, which software am I in? Which app am I in? Which app am I in? Are you sure? Look well.
Yeah. This is a PowerPoint.
PowerPoint. Those who are not too sure, just say power.
Power.
Okay. So if you're not too sure, just say power. Please, there's a point where all the powers will converge. Imagine you have done a report in Power BI and then you can project it in PowerPoint. This is PowerPoint. We are moving from the flat business presentations to data-driven presentations. What I'm showing you is not flat. You saw what I did in Power BI. Here, when I click on a particular region, you see that it responds to the region that I have selected. Are you with me? For some reason, I don't know why this. Right. So here I've selected North America. Right. You notice that even though I'm in PowerPoint, the slices are still responding to a certain angle that I'm interested in. Okay. The reason we like Power BI is that it goes beyond what Excel can do for you. In the workspace, in fact, most of the companies are now embracing Power BI. When you create your Excel dashboard, you'll be sending a lot of emails back and forth, version 1.0, version 2.0, right? But in Power BI, when you create your report, you share the same file to your workspace, and then all your colleagues can access it, right? Maybe your sales manager wants the sales reports part of it. Your finance team wants the numbers part of it. You can publish it and share to your workspace, and then they can collaborate. So the key word in Power BI, beyond the visualization and those things, is that it allows us to do collaboration, and then it's a bit enhanced when it comes to, right? PowerPoint is one of the outlets. Please, are you with me? So this is why I feel that beyond Excel, getting Power BI is also going to be useful. Now, there are some few common things between Excel and Power BI. I mentioned Power Query, right? Please, what did I say Power Query does in Excel? It
It's able to clean stubborn data.
Stubborn data. I see you like the stubborn part. So
yes.
in Power BI, typically when we are analyzing data, we go through some 5 steps. Okay. The first one is the ETL. You know, I mentioned the ETL. Right. The ETL basically means we get the data, we transform it, and then we load it, the refined version. Right. In Power BI, we have Power Query there. Right. That is why you have an advantage learning the Microsoft tools, because if you learn something in the Microsoft Excel, you can apply it in Power BI. You can use Power BI in PowerPoint. So there's a certain connection among the tools. Right. So ETL is there. Then what did I say Power Pivot does for us? Connect tables. Right. But in Power BI, we can connect tables. Because when you're analyzing data, don't settle for a situation where you are just analyzing one table. In the real world, you can have data that sits in about 4 tables, but you have to bring all of them together to create your story. Does it make sense? Then we calculate in Power BI using DAX, the same language, right? And then we do the visualization. Most of us, what we know Power BI for is the visualization, but a lot happens before we visualize. If you don't adopt the best practices for these, your visual doesn't make sense. Are you there? Now, beyond just being able to visualize, you will learn that Power BI can be accessed in 3 ways. There's a Power BI desktop. That one is free. You can download it. So all of you, I'll show you how to download. Those who are doing the Power BI class, the desktop version is free, right? You can do the ETL, connect tables, calculate, and also visualize using the Power BI desktop. It's free, right? Now, if you have to collaborate with your colleagues and share those things, that's where you need a license. Truth is that even those who use the license, they all start their work at Power BI desktop. And then when you are done, you publish, right? So about 70% of us will start off from here, and then we go online to publish our work, okay? So when we publish in Power BI service. That's the online version. Most of the companies use this. Most of the companies require you to have Power BI knowledge, because if you are doing a PowerPoint presentation, the expectation is that don't come and give us flat PowerPoint presentations. Give us a data-driven PowerPoint presentation, right? So when you publish, you have the option to collaborate with your colleagues. I've mentioned that. You have the option to even embed in your website, in Teams, and those things. That is also an option. And then you have the option to even generate a link that makes the thing viewable online. Okay. Kindly mute yourself for me if you are unmuted. I hear some feedback. Right. So just to give you an overview, that for those doing Power BI, this is the journey. We'll get the data, we'll clean it, we'll connect tables if you have to connect, create a data model, create DAX calculations, visualize. We'll learn best practices with the visualization, colors, and all those things. Then we'll publish. Are you with me? Then we'll learn the various advantages with the publication, collaboration in a workspace, embedding in Teams and those things, and then being able to generate links, right? So that's an overview of the tools we are going to learn in Power BI. Are we good? It's a software, if you like. It's an app. You will download it and then we'll use it. The good thing about Power BI is that the version that we are all going to use is the same. It's not like Excel where we have 2021, 2019, 2016. Everybody will download the same version. The only challenge is that those who are using Mac, the expensive people. Currently, Power BI is not available on Mac. So the students who reached out to me, I said, if you can find a Windows laptop, it will help. But if not, there are students who have joined us who were able to clone or bring in the Windows environment into Mac. There's a special consultant and old students who can assist you. So if you have Mac and you are struggling, I can give you his number, you can reach out, and then he points you to how to get it done. But best is a Windows laptop. Okay. I'll be rounding up this with my final chapter on AI on BI. When I say this, I hope you understand now. Earlier, it didn't make sense, but now it makes sense. What is the impact of AI on business intelligence? Please, in the next 3 years, probably what you are going to learn here will change. Let me issue that caveat. Currently, a lot of the things, the process, the 5 steps that I showed you, ETL, data modeling, calculations, visualizations, and then publication, those things, we are currently doing them manually. But I can prophesy that in the next 2 or 3 years, most of it will be automated, right? It's good you know. Now, it doesn't mean you shouldn't learn it, because if you don't know what data modeling is, you will not even know the prompt to give the AI. I hope you understand. So while we are learning this manually, I'm also encouraging you to look into the future and then embrace how these tools are transforming how we do work. Microsoft has a dedicated AI tool called Copilot, okay, which is embedded in some of the apps that we are using already. So PowerPoint, Microsoft Excel, Power BI, right? What these tools are helping us to do is that it is automating some of the routine things that we do. Okay, so keep an eye on these things as you learn some of these fundamental blocks. Are we on the same page? So quickly, it will get to the point where we will be using what we call NLPs, natural language processing, right? I can just say something or write something, and then AI will create my visuals for me. And by that time, hopefully, we'll still be here. It's not too far away. This is like a year or two. In fact, it's already going on. Okay. AI is also going to help us automate routine tasks. I'm going to show you how Copilot works in Excel, and then you understand this. So pivot tables can now be created with just Copilot scanning the data. It will just create a pivot table that it thinks will be useful for you. So that is another advantage of AI. Then AI is also going to help us create enhanced data visualization. Please, I've seen a situation where with a click, the data was just analyzed and the visuals were just created with the right color combinations and those things, right? It's coming. Then integration with IoTs. What's IoTs? Internet of Things, right? Right. So when gadgets and devices are doing or collecting data on our behalf by what they do already, they're already connected. So the data that we are looking for, we don't have to sort of input them by the activity. They are collecting this data for us. Okay. Now AI is going to integrate with these things to make our lives easier. In the end, we are going to be lazy. But positive laziness, because if you don't know some of these things, as I said, you don't even know what to feed the AI to give you what you are looking for. Okay. Then finally, is AI's ability to do what we call cognitive computing. At that point, the AI has become a human being. It's able to reason. It's able to talk. If you have followed Copilot's development in recent times, what they are releasing on iPhone 16, right? It has vision and audio. So I can point it to this class and it will describe it, what's happening here. That's where we are getting to, right? So when you come here, we also point you to the future so that you can relate what you are learning to what is ahead. Does it make sense? So people, I hope this overview helps. It clarifies things. So if you have signed up for Excel, you know what you are expecting. If you have signed up for Power BI, you know what you are expecting. If you have signed up for the tool, you also know what you are expecting. Are you with me? Now, let me quickly talk about logistics, and then I'll take your questions. And then if we are done, we'll round up for this session. So thank you for being here so far. Now, you all had this brochure. That's season 15. All right. So we shared our flyers, and then we also shared the brochure with you. Now, I want to speak to some parts of the brochure. Maybe you are not clear on the timetable and all those things. So I've already spoken about Finex, what we do, what's new this season, why join us, our community. Okay, this is Yvonne and Osbert. They are part of our community. Now, the course outline. As I said, this season is data analytics with Excel. Please, it is a beginner to advanced program. We are not starting with advanced data analysis. Are you with me? So don't be intimidated. We are starting with blank Excel worksheets. We'll learn how to structure data, what to convert, how to convert into a table, how to use tables in Power Query, how to clean them, how to model data, and then use pivot tables to create your dashboards. Is that with me? So we have divided it into 5 modules. The overview will help you get comfortable with the tools I've introduced to you, right? So we are doing this in 5 Saturdays. That's why we have it in 5 modules. Today is not part of the 5 Saturdays, right? Just to clarify, today doesn't count. So today is free. So next week, that is when the class starts. So if you are coming, come ready with your laptops. If there's any installation to be done, let's get it done today. So that by the time you're coming next week, you have your Power BI installed, your Excel is ready, right? So we'll do overview where we get comfortable with Excel and the tools I've introduced you to. We'll learn ETL. ETL is not new to you anymore, right? We'll learn ETL with Power Query, how to clean data with Power Query. That's module 2. We'll learn how to model data with Power Pivots. That will be week 3. Then there's cube functions. We'll learn how to create flexible calculation with DAX and cube functions. Example, sum, year to date, average, those things. Nothing complex. Okay. Then on the final day, we'll learn how to visualize and create insightful dashboards. Interactive with slices. At least nothing at all. Go and show people that you have done some. And then take a picture and hang it on your wall. That need to have created a dashboard, something even better than what you saw, right? So please, that is the output of the Excel program. It is not industry related, right? So everybody come on board, whether you are in HR, you are in sports, you are in banking, come on board. There will be a common denominator to bring everybody to understand, right? This season, we are not doing formulas, right? So those who are here from VLOOKUP and XLOOKUP, I'll show you what you need to do. Okay, this season is data analytics with Excel. That's our focus. Are you with me? Okay. Now, this is a capstone. Everybody's going to be creating this, right? This dashboard is in Excel. I didn't show you, but in the end, everybody is expected to create this simple dashboard. If you want us to do the World Bank 2, we'll do the World Bank 1, but we are open, right? So your check mark is that after I've left Finex, I can create at least this dashboard or that dashboard. Okay, whatever little things you learn, you can apply it to your own company's dashboard. In fact, what we like is that when people go out there and then they apply what they have learned and create their own version and bring it. We are super happy. Are you with me? Okay. Now, data analytics with Power BI. Again, that one is also divided into 5. So you will learn how to get data, how to transform data, how to calculate with DAX, visualize, and then collaborate online. So we'll add the service parts as well. Does it make sense? So when people say, do you know Power BI? He said, yes. I have gone through all the 5 steps. So please note your question. I'll take it shortly. Okay. So that's data analytics with Power BI. That's the model. Okay. Again, this is your capstone in Power BI. Right? We'll create this dashboard or report. In Power BI, it's called a report. Right? So we'll create something like this, an interactive sales. Normally, we like the sales case studies because we all sell, right? So if you check the class and you say we shouldn't do sales, we won't do sales. But if you want us to do sales, we'll do sales, right? Any data that you want to work with, at the end of the program, you should be able to apply these tips to do your work. Now, in terms of pricing, we've been charging 1,005 since 2017. See how the dollar has behaved. But because we like the Lord, we have maintained 1,005. Because you see, for us, it's not the money, it's for you to be able to come and learn. Okay. So a module is 1,005, but if you want a 2, you pay 2,250 or 2,500. Apply all the discounts. Okay. You get a discount when you put the 2 together. But if you are doing 1, you pay 1,005. Very good. If you have paid already, a lot of you have committed already, which is good. Right. In fact, the class is almost full, in person and online. But the online people, there's space. It's an in person that is almost full. So please, if you haven't made up your mind, there are only how many seats left? About 3 seats left in person. So the online people, there's more room there. But the truth is that we don't rate one over the other. Okay, because we make it live, as you have seen. You get to ask your questions, you get to comment, you get to answer. And I'm going to show you how you can practice. You're not going to watch a Zoom meeting. I'm going to show you how we use our virtual classroom, Google Classroom, to enhance learning, right? So if you are joining us online, you are not missing out on the action. In fact, in some cases, you realize that the online class becomes more productive because they are a bit more focused. But all of them, we put them at the same level. So we don't prioritize in person. Just that people have their preference. Some, they want to see the person live. Others, they want to drink coffee in their comfort, the comfort of their home, right? But there are others who are, for obvious reasons, cannot join us. Like Antonella is joining us from the US. Oyemi is from Nigeria. in the past, we've had people join us beyond Ghana. So please, we enrich both modules. So one is not better than the other. Now, the way we've done it, this is the timetable. Starting next week, Saturday, Excel is 9 a.m. to 12. Please notice. Today is a joint service. But next week, Saturday, we are breaking. Excel will be first service. So those who are coming to church, please get ready. The church starts at 9 a.m. to 12. You have a break to stretch, right? And then drink some water and snack, right, in between. You're not going to sit for 3 hours. So we have a 15-minute break, okay, to stretch. It's going to be very hands-on, so you will not even have the luxury to doze off, okay? So 9 to 12 Excel next week. So online and in-person people, it's the same time for you. The way you have seen me do it, that's how we do it, okay? Then, for those who are doing the 2 modules, you take a 1-hour break. If you have those who are here at Islegon, you can do some basketball shots just to relax more. If you are doing the 2, it will give you lunch, okay, for the energy. If you are online, you can eat at home. During the 1-hour break, okay. Then we convene at 1 o'clock to come and do Power BI 1 to 4. Please, are you with me? Please, it's just 5 Saturdays of investment. These 5 Saturdays, trust me, you may be sleeping or watching football. It is technically 3rd August to 31st August. 1 month of 12 months of your life this year to gain this knowledge so that when you jump up or you transition to another job, or even if you stay in the same job, you have something more than you know now. So please, it's 5, I only say 5 Saturdays of coming to class, but 5 Saturdays of investments of your time and resources, okay, to open your eyes to what is possible with these tools. Right. So please note the timetable. Excel 9 a.m., 1 p.m. Oh, sorry, 9 to 12, sorry. Break is 12 to 1, and then 1 to 4 by 31st August. We are done. But we are not done. You see, when you finish this community, a lot of our alumni, all students are on the online call. Right? Because every season we do something new. And then we ask you to join so that you learn. Right? When you all graduate, we'll add you to our WhatsApp community. Almost pushing about 500 now. There we don't discuss politics. We don't do morning devotion. All we do is learn. So we share topics, we discuss, sometimes it gets very hot, analyzing issues and those things. But it's all part of the learning. We also share job vacancies as well. Are you with me? So you're going to be part of a community that is continuously growing. So we don't leave you that you have finished, take your certificate and go. No. Are you with me? Okay. So you've met us already. So if you haven't registered yet, today is the last day to do so that we are clear on the people we are working with and we can start sharing the content. Now, the last thing I want to show you is our virtual classroom, and I'll take your questions. So this is our virtual classroom. So by God's grace, we've done like 15 editions of this. This is season 15. The last one was season 14. Okay. So you see that after, I'm going to share codes with those who have signed up and those who have a scholarship too. Now, you are going to use the code to join a virtual classroom. And this one, whether you are in person or online, you have to join the classroom for 2 reasons. Because we'll be sharing resources in the classroom. You also have access to the playback video, which we created together. I'm underlining that. The thing is that don't rely on what people have created for you as playback. Come to the live session and ask your questions so that you can hear yourself when you are playing back. These are you with me? So a typical classroom looks like this. Okay, so when you join the classroom, you see all your mates. Okay, when you post announcements, you see the announcements here, right? Now you sign in with your Gmail, so every update comes to your email, right? So if you put an announcement, you see. If you put a material, you see. Okay, then there's classwork. So in the classwork, this is where you see all the topics from topic 1. So we start from the bottom. Okay, so this is what the last season people did. So we start with overview of Power BI and the case study. Okay, the workbook and every material you need is present here, right? So come in person, come online, live. And then when you are done, maybe between Monday and Friday, whatever gaps that there were, the playback video latest by Sunday morning, it has been loaded. Okay, then you take your time, ETL, calendar table, calculations, visualization, Power BI service, exploring the semantic model. This will give it to you for a lifetime. Are you with me? Now, please, for those who are joining us online, when you join the classroom and it's time to join the live session, right? All you need to do is click on this join. So we'll not be sharing codes for you to be joining. Anytime it's time for class, you just go to the classroom, you hit join, and then you are live. Are you with me? Then we also share assignments and project work and grade you. So our certificate is not certificate of participation, right? It's a certificate of attendance and showing proficiency. Because if you show it, you're supposed to defend it, right? So we'll make sure that you do your assignments. If you have challenges, you can reach out, but don't just go through the process. We'll ensure that you will learn. Are we good? So people, this is what the orientation is supposed to achieve. I've gone through our brochure. I've gone through finance skills and what we represent. I've gone through the technical overview of the things you are signing up for. And then I've also showed you the logistics. At this point is Q&A. If you have any questions, you can ask. So please feel free and then ask your questions. So online, in person, if you have any questions, please feel free.
Hello.
Okay. Okay, so sorry, please hold on for me. There's a question in here. So Jesse, queue for me. So after Jesse, there's Priska. So please raise your hand and queue. I'll take the in-person people and then we'll answer all your questions. Thank you. Please go ahead. Yes. 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 So for those who came in person, we'll help you install Power BI if you have. And those who came online, I'm going to show you how to do it yourself. It's a very simple process. Okay, so let me do that now. Please, if you are doing Power BI, go to the Windows. So come to what is that? Please come to Microsoft Store. Okay, so those who are doing Power BI desktop, sorry, those who are doing Power BI, go to Microsoft Store. Okay, and then look for Power BI desktop. Okay. Power BI desktop. Make sure you add a desktop to it. Okay, so if you come here, right, you search for Power BI desktop. That's what you're supposed to do. And then when it pops up, you click on Get. Okay, so Power BI desktop, and then you click on Get. Get will download it. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes, depending on your internet strength. Okay, so please get it ready before next week's class. That's all the installation you need. Now for the Excel, we will require you to have 2016 or later. Please, 2013 will not work for us. 2007 will not work for us. The reason is that Power Pivot, Power Query, and those tools were integrated in Excel from 2016 onwards. Okay, so if you don't have a latest version of Excel, unfortunately, we are out of licenses, so we can't support. But get an IT person to support you if you can. Get you. If you have 2016 Excel, 2019 Excel is good. How would you know? If you open your Excel, you can go to. So that's why today is important. So if you open your Excel, you can go to File, okay, then Accounts. Okay, so when you do File Accounts, it will tell you the version you are on. I'm saying 2016, 2019, 2021, 365, you are in a good place. Right. Please, these are all the installations we need, Excel and Power BI. Okay, I'll take one more in person and I'll come online. Mr. Lassie.
Yeah, I wanted to
Fantastic. Okay, so the question is the certification I spoke about. Okay, now for those who want to get certified in Power BI, which we encourage most of our students to do, the certificate is PL 300. So search for Microsoft certification or Microsoft Power BI certification. It's a global certificate and you get the title Power BI Data Analyst Associate. Okay, so for most of our students, we encourage you to get this. It's a virtual exam, okay, and you can write it here in Ghana. If you're in Ghana, you are going to pay. If you're in Ghana, you're going to pay about $80. Okay, you know our situation. So if you're in Ghana and you are gay, and I would encourage you, because this is what stamps the fact that you know your stuff. And it's going to build on what we have already taught to you, because the body of knowledge, the ETL, okay, you see the skills that are measured. Number one, prepare the data, ETL. Number two, model the data, connect tables, data modeling. Visualize and analyze the data, number three. And then deploying and maintaining assets. That's the publication, right? What you do in the service space. Okay. So what you learn will give you a good foundation, and very good of Microsoft. They also offer comprehensive documentation, right? Videos and PDFs. And then you can also access past questions or dumps to help you pass this exam. If you give yourself 3 months, you should be able to do this. Okay. Apart from that, there's also this one. Okay, the PL 600. If you want to add on, okay, and then do more with the fabric and all those things, okay, you can add this one to it. Okay, but start with 300 first before you go on to the 600. Trust me, the 300 will be more than good enough. Okay, then please don't settle with the certificates. Do projects. I keep telling people that right now it's beyond CVs. When you're a data analyst and you submit a CV, they will ask you to show your portfolio, right? If you want portfolio, please, we have about 7 classrooms that have Power BI case studies. You can start with that. Or you can also go to our YouTube, okay? So if you go to Finex Skills Hub, okay, so if you go to Finex Skills Hub, please, if you are here and you haven't gone to the YouTube, there's a time to do so because there are a lot of resources here. And while you are there too, please don't leave without subscribing. Otherwise, you can't exit the page. So subscribe, but what I'm here for is that when you go to the playlists, okay, if you search for Finex Skills Up and you go to the playlist, in fact, it's good this question has come up, maybe to answer somebody's question. Please, when you go to the playlist, what we have done is that we have taken time to create resources for your learning, grouped under different topics. So under dashboards, there are 7 case studies and counting, full dashboards from inventory to HR to sales to accounting. So dashboards would help you with that. Now, apart from that, I said this season we are not doing what we used to call Excel for work. Excel for work is where we were doing the basic Excel, VLOOKUP, index match, if, and those things. What we have done is that before this season started, we have recorded videos from topic 1 to 10 under Excel for work. Right, so please, if you go to the playlist called Excel for work. We start from topic 1, overview of Microsoft Excel, all the way to pivot tables. Okay, so there are 11 videos here that, if you like, you can watch. That is for those who are very new to Excel. If you can watch, please make sure before next week Saturday's class, you watch topic 1. Because topic 1 will give you an overview of Excel, the features, the tools, the shortcuts, okay? Nothing at all. You can watch topic 1 and topic 10 for this season's job, right? But here, this one is free. Take your time. All the exercise files are here. So don't say that I am new to Excel. In fact, there's a case study which we are always proud to say that for one of our facilitators, when he joined our class, he didn't even have Excel installed. But because of the passion he had, he's risen all the way to a teacher now and doing amazing work as a consultant in financial modeling, right? So please don't say, I don't know Excel. What we have done is you have no excuse because these videos will help bridge the gap. Is that you with me? So go to our YouTube page, go to the playlist, and then access these videos. The only thing we are doing differently is that this season we are focusing Excel on data analytics and BI. That's all we are doing differently. Even that one is a beginner to advanced process. Does it make sense? Okay. So that's it. I've answered your question. Sure. Okay, I'll now come online. So I'll first take Jesse.
Okay. Hello, Bernard. Thank you for the opportunity. I have 2 questions. So on the YouTube, I've seen a lot of videos on the Excel, but for Power BI and financial modeling, I don't think I have, or maybe I've not paid attention to that.
Okay, so a lot of the Power BI videos are here. So let me show you. So when you come to playlists, Power BI is here. So if you come to Power BI, there are 11 videos here.
Okay.
So there's this one on creating an income statement dashboard or report in Power BI, actual budgets, right? So even the case study, the World Bank case study, the one that I showed, the globe, is also here. Okay. And it's not a show-off presentation, it is a tutorial. So it's a step-by-step. The files are available for you. Is that you with me?
Yes.
So yeah, it's available.
Okay. So I'll check on this one. And then my main question is, Power BI, in relation to what we do at work, have you had any instance, or I don't know, for my company, maybe company will have restrictions on applications to use and applications to use to manipulate your data. Is that something that has been taken into consideration, or I would have to go and see whoever is head of IT or whoever is head of finance to tell the person, oh, I have to use Power BI to do this and that.
Okay, so truth is that very forward-looking organizations should start buying Power BI licenses by now. I'm saying that because Power BI service allows you to create reports easily and collaborate. If your company doesn't have Power BI license, you can start off with a Power BI desktop. That one is free, as I said. But if your IT person already has a license for you, that is, you see, normally, for those of you who use atyourcompany.com to log into Microsoft tools. So welcome to Finex School season. For those of you who sign in with your, like Excel, with atyourcompany.com, most likely there's a license for you. So you just have to talk to your IT guy to maybe assign you a Power BI service license, Premium or Pro. Okay. If that license is assigned to you, allow the IT guy to also give you permissions to publish online and then to share links. That is something like that, data privacy issues and all those things. You have to run through that to be sure. So talk to your IT people, talk to your IT team. As long as you have a Microsoft 365 license at corporate level, it's likely that there could be a Power BI service license available for you too. Okay, so please talk to your IT guy to clarify that, Jesse. I'll go on to, okay.
Thank you.
Patrick, please go ahead.
So I've learned that probably you need to have some skills in Excel before you move on to the Power BI. So if I'm attending both classes, is it appropriate?
Okay, so first of all, let me put a pin in that balloon. You don't need knowledge in Excel to do Power BI. Just that it helps. You can jump and learn Power BI straight, but getting started with Excel helps. Regardless, if you want to do the two, the way we have done it, you can do it comfortably. In fact, the learning will even be better because we are going to use the same data set in both cases. So you are going to be learning twice. So when you do ETL in Excel, we'll come to Power BI and show you how you do ETL in Power BI as well, right? So let it not be like I have to finish Excel before I learn Power BI. In fact, for most of you who signed up, a lot of you did sign up for the two, which is good, right? So we will do it such that even if you're a beginner in both modules, you should be able to find your feet quickly for us to go forward together. So Patrick, it's not a requirement. You can do the two together.
Thank you.
Okay. Oyemi, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Bernard. My question is, for someone like me, I reached out to you on WhatsApp, and I'm not sure you're known, but I mentioned that the end goal for me is like I want to go into financial modeling, and my background is in engineering. So I'm always concerned about the basis, like the foundation of accounting and all those things, if it will affect me progressing into that domain. That's like my first question. Although you've given me like a brief answer on WhatsApp, but I'm not sure if for me that's sufficient enough. Then another question is, you see, this data analysis thing, I've been like trying to learn, trying to get better for a while, even with Excel and Power BI. But most of the resources I have, they are not structured. And that's why I'm even coming to Finex Skills since I came across your YouTube and I've been practicing along. But it's just that there's this thing when you get on LinkedIn and you see what people do, it becomes overwhelming. Sometimes I just close the LinkedIn and just run away. Because it's like, and when I see the things you do, probably because it's a guided project, I feel like maybe it's not enough compared to the dashboard I'm seeing on LinkedIn, because it looks somehow basic to me, or probably it's just the foundational guide I need to do all those complex stuff I see online. So that's just my concern and question. I hope it makes
Okay.
sense.
So yes, it makes sense. So I'll answer the first question. I think we spoke briefly on financial modeling. We do financial modeling, but normally we do it with PowerPoint. The last one was in January, I mentioned. God willing, we may do one before the year ends. It's not confirmed yet. So I'll go over the Power BI thing. I think most people miss that, so I'll come to that. Now, for financial modeling, do you have to be an accountant or finance person to do financial modeling? No. Right? In fact, if I do an analysis of the people who have certified, who have the advanced financial modeler certification, more than half are not accountants. So to be able to be a good financial modeling is different from data analytics, just by the way. Financial modeling is basically how to put assumptions together, numbers, okay, to inform decisions that involve, example, investments, purchasing businesses, basically just startup projections and those things, okay? So it becomes a bit more number driven. But what you need is an appreciation of how the three financial statements work, i.e. the income statement, the balance sheet, and the cash flow. This is the basic requirements. So if you're an engineer, in fact, the best financial modelers are even engineers, and you appreciate how these things work together, that's all you need to build on. Even though being a finance person or accountant maybe will help you understand some of the concepts better, what you need to transition with is the basic knowledge of how the three statements work together, because they form the foundation of all financial models. Okay, so I think I answered that. Now, the second question is structured Power BI lessons. We are building on that. So, in fact, one of the things we've committed to, if you have followed our YouTube pages, we have released like 5 Excel dashboards and Power BI reports in the last 5 weeks. We want to create a structured way for people to learn. The things that you see on LinkedIn, it's not as if we can't create it. We can, and even create better. But sometimes we feel that the larger population need entry. That is why our case studies are very simple. I'm even surprised that you are describing as simple, because people say it's complex. Okay, so an example here is this one. If you look at this case study, getting started with Power BI, okay, we put this together, not the Metro Man. We put this one together, getting started with Power BI, a complete beginner case study, okay, for those who are new to it. So yes, Yemi, I agree. Maybe some of the case studies are simple, but it's just to give a lot more people the opportunity to come in, right? Later, we'll be adding on a bit more of the complex ones, the more industry-specific ones. Okay, so just be on a standby. Very soon, you see these ones to build your muscles. Okay, I'll go on to Mami. Mami, please go ahead.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mami, and I am joining from Germany. I am a pharmacist by profession, and my background is in pharmaceutical research. I am seeking to pivot from academia and research into industry, specifically in quality management or medical science liaison. And as most of you would know, the pharma industry and life science industry generates a lot of data that directs their decision making. And so I would want to know that in joining both classes, would there also be case studies that trail those lines at least? Sales is good because, I mean, at the end of the day, most pharmaceutical companies want to make money. But when it comes to other data, like quality management data that spans a number of years and other issues like that. Are there existing case studies like that that I would also appreciate? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mami. And we appreciate the angle you have brought. In fact, data is universal. And I'm happy Mami has brought her pharmaceutical side to this. Now, what we try to do is to find case studies that everybody can relate to. In fact, as I sit here now, we have not even decided whether we'll do the World Bank one or we'll do the sales one. We can even change it. In fact, we had seasons where we change the data based on the class. Okay, but rest assured that whatever you learn for each case study, the principles will be the same. Right? So it's not a case study you are learning, but the best practice. So even if it's pharmaceutical, you have to clean the data. That's where the ETL comes in. If the data you have downloaded are sitting in many tables, you have to model the data. Okay, you have to learn how to create measures or DAX calculations for your key performance indicators, and you learn how to visualize. So you are not going to be too far off, even if you learned with the World Bank case study, okay? Because the knowledge that you have will be enough for you to analyze whatever you are working with. Now, one thing I would encourage you to do is that beyond the learning, attempt your case study. And this goes to everybody, not just Mame. When we finish the 5 Saturdays, please, whatever you have learned, we encourage you to attempt your own data. Okay? We'll be providing you support because maybe there are some few gaps that we need to fill, take away, or add that will make it relevant to that case study you are doing. So, Mame and everybody else, first we will learn with a common case study. But when you finish, please attempt whatever you want to work on. And then we'll be here to support you. Are you with me? So, Mame, you are still in a good space, even if you are coming from the pharmaceutical industry. It's the best practice and principles that will give you the foundation to build on. Right.
Right.
Priska.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you, Bernard. And thanks, Mami, for bringing that, because my question was also in line with what kind of case study that we use. So I wanted to propose the use of the World Bank compared to like sales, because that I see more of qualitative data in there, which might be different from like the sales that we have done in the past. Maybe there might be sales that have qualitative information, but it will be good to see that angle too. And maybe use that qualitative aspect or the World Bank for the data analytics, and then the Power BI, we could do like the sales related. That was my like kind suggestion or proposal. And then my other question, Bernard, I want to be able to participate in data analytics and then the Power BI, but right now my schedule wouldn't permit me because I could only do from 9 to 12. So I was wondering if maybe after this session, like a week or 2 breaks, there could be another session where there's a rotation so that the Power BI comes in the morning and then the data analytics in the afternoon. So I could continue for a span of say 10 weeks doing only data analytics for the 5 weeks and Power BI for another 5 weeks, because I can't do the whole day. I can do from 9 to 12. Is there anything like that? Thank you.
Okay. So on the first question, like I said, we are not even settled yet on the data to use, but we'll find something that all of you can relate to. If we think that because the World Bank has more qualitative data, we use that. We can use that for the Excel class and then do another case study for the Power BI class, right? So that you have a bit of both worlds. Because in the World Bank one, I realized there's even an opportunity to run correlation in there on income levels and whether it is driving the proportion of seats in parliament and all those things. So yes, thanks for the feedback. The team will sit down and then look at that. Secondly, can we do Power BI after this and bring it forward? Okay, that one I don't have the answer yet. So again, we'll meet as a team and then advise on the next class. Normally don't have a date for the next class. What we have is what we have at the moment. So I understand. I know where you're coming from. So I really understand why you can't do the two. But those who can do the two, we encourage you to do it because the features are changing quickly. So if you embrace it early, then in the subsequent updates and all those things, it makes it easier. But Priska, your concerns are well noted. I'll let you know when the next class, if you have to invert the class and timetable, I'll let you know. Okay, so it appears we are good. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope all your questions have been answered. You can reach us on the WhatsApp line. We can talk more on the things that I have raised. So after this, all those who are committed, we'll be sending you the classroom codes. So if you have signed up for two, you get two codes. One for Excel, one for Power BI, right? If you have done one, we'll give you one. And then you are able to. So by Saturday, God willing, next week Saturday, when we are coming, we are set. So I would like to go over the installation again. So I was saying that for Excel 2016, the in-person, I'll do it after I log out. Okay. So those online, please, I'm saying that go to Microsoft Store, okay, and then search for Power BI. That's what we are looking for. Are you there? And then you click on Get. I've already installed it. That's why this is open. So you click on Get, and then it will install it for you. Okay. Please, those who are joining online, next week Saturday, as I said, you will join the classroom. Okay, so the classroom will bring you here. Join the classroom. This is the same thing you will see, but it will be season 15. Okay. Please, what we encourage you to do is when it's time for your class, join. You can also, in fact, that's the best thing to do. People have used it in the past, it worked. You can copy this link, the join link, right? This is very important. You can copy the join link and then send it to yourself so that you can join the class on another gadget, like your phone. So that on your phone, you are looking at the teacher and then the demo. Then you have your laptop to yourself to practice. I hope you understand. Because normally, if you join with the laptop and then the screen, you have to split your screen. A lot of the features will be folded up. So you can connect to the Google meeting on your phone. Get some stand B and put it somewhere. Or you have some tablet or any idle phone, use that one. So that you have the full screen of the demo and the teacher. Is that you with me? And then you have access to your laptop fully to practice. That's one way you can use. So you're allowed to join in with as many gadgets as you want. You can even project us in your living room for all your family people to watch us. It's fine. Please, are you okay? Okay, so I think I've covered everything. If I didn't, we can continue the discussion. I would like to acknowledge our old students who have always been very supportive. In fact, every season they join us to support the new people who are here. So I see Ben Arthur, I see Isumaba, I see Francis Kumi, Gabi Ajete. In fact, I can't mention all your names, but we appreciate all the support you've been giving us and the referrals as well. Okay, some of them will be joining this season because sometimes they want to see other case studies. We don't repeat case studies. We don't repeat case studies. So if we do well bank, we archive it and then we move on. But normally, if you join our community, in fact, you join subsequent ones almost for free. So welcome and then stay. So thank you guys. We appreciate your feedback and your support. God willing, we'll meet next week, Saturday. Okay, so I'm ending the recording and then we'll link up on Saturday. Thank you. Stanley.
Thank you very much.